People often ask me when a relationship has had a pattern of abuse, repeated adultery, chronic deceit, or sexual or other addictions, can trust ever be restored? And the answer is not always. So first, let me tell you what doesn't work, and then I'm going to give you a few bullet points about what's required if you want to rebuild shattered trust. First, sometimes as Christians, we've unfairly placed the burden to restore trust upon the shoulders of the one who was betrayed, and we've even linked it with biblical forgiveness. The thinking goes like this: well, once you forgive, then it's over. You don't have to talk about it anymore. It's under the blood, so to speak. Everything's fine, and reconciliation and restored trust is assumed and automatic. But is that realistic? Is it even biblical? What if you shouldn't trust the other person again, even if you have forgiven him or her? For example, would you trust a person who molested your child just because they said they were sorry and asked your forgiveness? Or how about someone who mismanaged your business finances, forged checks, costing you or your company thousands of dollars? Even if you did forgive, wouldn't you have second or third or fourth thoughts about whether or not this person has changed enough to earn your trust back, to give him access to your business accounts, or even more importantly, access to your child? Biblical forgiveness does not equal repaired trust, nor does it mean a reconciled relationship, including marriage. Equating forgiveness with automatic restoration of broken trust ignores the responsibility of the one who did the betraying in the first place to demonstrate over time real and consistent change. As John the Baptist so wisely said to the religious leaders, prove by the way that you live that you've repented of your sin and turned to God. You see, a truly repentant person accepts that sometimes there are lifelong consequences for their sin. That's just one of the consequences of repetitive and unrepentant sin. Think about it. If someone drove drunk and killed someone, they may be genuinely repentant, but God doesn't bring that dead person back to life just because they were sorry. The Bible says that we sow what we reap, and a truly repentant person who's walking in God's truth accepts that tough reality. So please, if you've been betrayed, don't put that pressure on yourself that somehow you have to trust again. Rebuilding broken trust is 100% on the one who broke the trust to begin with. So let me leave you with a few key areas where you will want to see real changes if any trust is going to be restored. First, can you trust who this person is? You know, we all immediately distrust a person who feels inauthentic or fake. But when you're married to someone who has one persona in public and another one at home, you don't trust him because you don't even know him. His core self is not authentic, and therefore he can't or shouldn't be trusted. Most often, he's not even authentic when you go to counseling or see the pastor together. And this could be for a woman or a wife as well. The Bible warns us that there are people who masquerade as sheep, but are really ravenous wolves. They're not to be trusted. Don't beat yourself up. Be wise. The second area of broken trust that needs to be repaired is reliability. Can you count on him or her to do what he or she says they will do? For example, he says he'll stop watching porn, but you don't see any evidence that he's stopped. Or he says he's going to put filters on the computer, but he never does. Or she says she's going to stop spending money on the credit card or stay off the computer, but doesn't really do anything. Or he says, I want our marriage back, but he won't go to counseling or do any specific work toward that end. Proverbs 25:19 says this: putting confidence in an unreliable person in times of trouble is like chewing with a broken tooth or walking on a lame foot. In other words, it's not smart. It's foolish. Words are meaningless if they're not followed with consistent actions. And if they're not, don't trust the words because they're all smoke and mirrors. And the third area of broken trust is in the area of care. Can you trust that your spouse cares for you, your well-being, your perspective? For example, when you share your thoughts and feelings, are they heard, valued, protected? When you disagree, is that taken into consideration in decision-making in your marriage? Or is there mocking, contempt, avoidance, or indifference? One of the foundational elements of marital trust is that love does not intentionally harm the other. And if in weakness or sin we do harm the other, then every effort is made to make amends and not repeat that harm over and over and over again. So when you say, ouch, or stop, or that bothers me, is your spouse listening? Does he or she care about how you feel? Can you trust that he or she will stop doing the things that harm you? Rebuilding broken trust in a marriage is not just about infidelity. Trust can get broken in other areas like reliability, authenticity, and care. And once broken, it takes time and specific evidence of change, not words or promises of change. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend. God bless.